Welcome to my talk, Quantum Supremacy. Is quantum about to break cryptocurrency? Glad that you're here with me today. My name is Victoria Riess. I'm a cryptocurrency expert and senior tech manager in strategy. I will take questions in writing throughout the presentation, so please do post them in the Q&A chats. What is quantum computing? Quantum computing is when Bob says, "Oh, Alice, you're the one for me." And Alice says, "But Bob, in a quantum world, how can we be sure?" In this talk, I will teach you what quantum supremacy, specifically the claims for supremacy from the University of Science and Technology of China and Google means, how quantum computing will practically change the world of cryptocurrency. You will understand why China, Google, and any other quantum computer could be about to break cryptography blockchain, and see what new ways are in place to save blockchain from quantum. Let's have a closer look at quantum computing. Quantum computing is defined by two concepts. One is superposition, the other is entanglement. A quantum computer is fundamentally different from a classical computer. Classical bits stores the information of 0 and 1, and a quantum bit can be both 0 and 1 at the same time. Superposition means that the classical states called bit store the classical information in a string of 0 and 1. So everything that classical computer has enabled is boiled down to 0 and 1. Instead, the quantum states, the so-called qubits, are when a quantum computer has this property that the states can exist in superposition of 0 and 1. So you have a complex superposition of 0 and 1. This means that you are able to explore much richer sets of states. So the possibility space you can explore is much more interesting and complex. What is entanglement? Well, entanglement is when the states of entangled qubits cannot be described independently from each other. The idea of entanglement is that I have two qubits and entangle them together. So measuring the first qubit can tell me something about what will happen when measuring the second qubit. So if you have two quantum bits, then there are 4 possible states that you can put into superposition. With 3 qubits, it's 8. With 4 qubits, it's 16. So it grows exponentially. And the nice thing about quantum supremacy is that it is a well-defined engineering milestone. So in a nutshell, what quantum researchers are trying to do, they are trying to solve that an experiential quantum computer can surpass the best supercomputers in the world. What is quantum supremacy? Well, quantum supremacy is roughly the use of a programmable and configurable quantum computer to solve some well-defined computational problems much faster than we know how to solve it with any existing classical computer. On December the 3rd in 2020, researchers from the University of Science and Technology of China, USTC, and Hefei reported that the photonic quantum computer, which harnesses particles of light or photons, performed a calculation that is impossible for a conventional computer. They claimed that they have achieved quantum supremacy. This is only the second demonstration of a claim for quantum supremacy. That milestone, known as quantum supremacy, has been met only once before, in October 2019 by Google's quantum computer on the left side. Contrary to Google's first demonstration of a quantum advantage, the USDC's version is virtually unassailable by any classical computer. And for the first time, a quantum computer made of photons, particles of light, has outperformed even the fastest classical supercomputers. So the demonstration of quantum supremacy with a different type of device reveals how rapidly quantum computing is progressing. This latest demonstration of quantum computing's potential from the USDC group is critical because it differs dramatically from Google's approach. Google's device, called Sycamore on the left side, is based on tiny quantum bits made of superconducting materials, which conduct energy without resistance. In contrast, on the right side, the USDC quantum computer called Xushang consists of a complex array of optical devices that shuttle photons around. Those devices include light sources, hundreds of beam splitters, dozens of mirrors, and 100 photon detectors. In short, Xushang is an elaborate tabletop setup of lasers, mirrors, prisms, and photon detectors. The USDC chose a different problem for its demonstration, called bosom sampling. Briefly, it is a proposal for achieving quantum supremacy by simply passing identical, non-interacting photons through an array of beam splitters and then measuring where they end up. This means the interfering process itself is the computing process. They carried out the task on a photonic quantum computer working at room temperature. The USDC confined solution to the bosom sampling problem in 200 seconds. The USDC group detected about 43 photons on average per run. But in one run, they observed 76 photons. This is more than enough to justify their quantum primacy claim. For one of the world's most powerful classical computers, the Chinese supercomputer Sunway Taiyu Light, predicting the results that the quantum computer would get from anything beyond about 40 photons was intractable. The researchers estimated solving for 76 photons would take 2.5 billion years to calculate on China's Taiyu Light supercomputer. This is a quantum advantage of around a factor of 1014. What are cryptocurrencies then? Well, digital currency aim to do away with all the problems we have paying for things online. But you may think of the system we have is pretty good. But everything we buy today has to go through a bank, a credit card company who take care of the transaction and who will rely on our trust that they will do everything right. After a while, payments start to build up, and added to that, what is security? So you have to have trust your card company to keep your details safe. So many people have tried to work around to have a payment system without a middleman. But then there is another problem. How do you prove that you have paid for something? Or even that you have that money at all without someone vouching for you? It's so serious that it has a name: double spending problem. what is a possible solution? Well, in 2018, a solution was offered by the anonymous programmer Satoshi Nakamoto. He left a paper on a popular cryptographic blog in which he proposed a system of currency that solved all these fiddler problems. His proposal was that instead of credit card company recording every transaction in one central ledger, all of the users record transactions all at the same time. As a result, any attempt to fool the community would be noticed and be rejected. No one user, government, or bank can force a fee on payment or control its flow. The result is a cheaper, quicker way to spend money even across national borders. But what is the biggest danger? Well, the biggest danger to blockchain from quantum computing is its potential ability to break traditional encryption. But which cryptographic algorithms are currently in use by cryptocurrencies, and what is the impact of quantum computing? Well, to sum up, there are used two different types of cryptographic algorithms. One is digital signatures, and the second is the hash functions. To sum up and to make the point, we can say that by using the Shor's algorithm, we could break currently deployed asymmetric ciphers. But using the Grover's algorithm, it is currently believed to be essentially impossible to break a hash-based function. So remember, Shor's algorithm could break, but using Grover's algorithm, it's impossible to break. Let's have a closer look. What are classical cryptographic ciphers? As I've mentioned before, there are two classical cryptographic ciphers in cryptocurrencies. One are the digital signatures. So these are the deployed asymmetric ciphers, such as Bitcoin's ECDSA elliptical curve digital signature algorithm for encrypting the private and public keys pairs. And the second are the hash functions, like the Bitcoin SHA-256. Let's have a closer look at both. For digital signatures, we can say that these are important cryptographic mechanisms used to verify data integrity. The signer has a signing key, and the signature verifier has a corresponding public key. Another sample of asymmetric encryption. It is used widely as illustrated in the following cryptocurrency example. So a cryptographic application is, for example, that the application for digital signatures is in payment systems such as credit card payments and cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. With these systems, a payer who wants to make payments holds a secret signing key and it is used in Bitcoin for encrypting private and public key pairs. Let's have a look at the hash functions, the second type. So the cryptographic hash functions and password hashing enable one to compute a short message digest called hash. Hash functions can take gigabytes of data as an input and output a short 256-bit hash value. But for any given hash output value, it is difficult to find an input who would yield that hash. What are potential applications? Well, hash functions are used in many contexts. A simple example is their use in password management systems. The server authenticates user password, usually stores it in its database, a one-way hash of those user passwords. And it is used often in Bitcoin's SHA-256. So, how could a large quantum computer defeat cryptographic ciphers? If we have a closer look at the digital signatures, the threat is clear. So one most widely used digital signature algorithm is called ECDSA, as I mentioned before, elliptical curve digital signature algorithm, and this is used in Bitcoin. So roughly speaking, this algorithm is based on the same discrete log problem used for key exchange. Parameters for this system is chosen so that the best known classical attacks run in time. What is the impact of a quantum computer? Well, the adversary who has access to a quantum computer, which is capable of executing the Shor's algorithm, would have the ability to forge both RSA and ECDSA signatures. The adversary would be able to issue fake certificates, properly sign malicious software, and potentially spend funds on behalf of others. Even worse, the Shor's algorithm allows attackers to recover private keys, but also eliminate security of all other users of keys. So this is it for digital signatures. But what happens to hash functions? What is the threat? Well, if an attacker steals the database, it may be difficult for an attacker to recover the clear text passwords. Currently, most common used hash function is called SHA-256. The 256-bit hash function is the basis for many password authentication systems. The impact of a quantum computer is limited. The hash function that produces a 256-bit outputs is not expected to be threatened by quantum computing. And even using the Grover's algorithm, it is currently believed to be essentially impossible to break hash functions like the SHA-256. When will quantum computer break the classical cryptographic ciphers? Well, there are different, so given the current state of quantum computing and the recent rates of progress, it is highly unexpected that a quantum computer can compromise ECDSA or comparable discrete logarithm-based public key crypto systems will be built within the next decade. So that's for sure. But what new ways are in place to save crypto from quantum supremacy? There are different classes of potential quantum-resistant cryptographic systems. So a closer look reveals that there is no justification from the leap from quantum computers destroy ECDSA, RSA, or DSA to quantum computers destroy cryptography in general. There are many important classes of cryptographic systems beyond RSA and DSA and ECDSA. For example, the hash-based, the code-based, the lattice-based, or the multivariate quadratic equations cryptography. The National Institute of Standards and Technology is running a competition in order to construct and standardize post-quantum cryptography. The NIST is a competition, a large competition to create a post-quantum cryptographic algorithm, and it's well underway. This is important to know. The NIST is the gold standard in the cryptography community. They have started in 2017 with the first submissions. These had been 82 candidates. Now in 2020, they are in the third round and have narrowed it down to 7 finalists only. In 2022, 2024, they have set a tentative deadline for draft standards. So let's see when they will be rolled out and deployed. Let's have a closer look at these 7 finalists and 8 alternates selected for the third round. They can be split in public key encryption and key establishment algorithms versus the digital signatures. With regards to the finalists in this current pool, the structured lattice schemes appear to be the most promising general purpose algorithms for public encryption and key establishment algorithms and digital signature schemes. The alternative candidates are regarded as a potential candidate for future standardization, but most likely after another round of evaluation. The finalists group themselves in lattice-based, PKE, KEM, and digital signatures. Code-based is only focused on PKE and KEM, and the multivariate are only focused on digital signatures. But how to prepare for quantum supremacy? Well, given this large risk a quantum computer poses on current protocols, there is an active effort to develop a post-quantum cryptography. These are likely to be standardized in the 2020s. For this reason, there is a need to begin the transition from post-quantum cryptography as soon as possible. To put it this another way, if a fault-tolerant quantum computer with 2,500 logical qubits is built anytime in the next 20 years or so, some data will be compromised. In conclusion, we can say that the biggest danger to blockchain from quantum computing, from quantum supremacy, is the quantum computer's potential ability to break traditional encryption. We have seen that, given the large risk a quantum computer poses to current protocols, there is an active effort to develop post-quantum cryptography, asymmetric ciphers that quantum computer cannot defeat. Regarding the digital signatures, we have seen that the Shor's algorithm could break currently deployed asymmetric ciphers such as the Bitcoin's ECDSA for encrypting private and public key pairs. With regards to the hash functions, we have seen that even using the Grover's algorithm, it is currently believed to be essentially impossible to break a hash function like the Bitcoin SHA-256. So, thank you for attending my talk. Here is my Twitter handle. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and have a nice day. Thank you.